wants to ricochet off the wall. He wants to get those trick shots.
What up,
he wants to
yes?
get Mark's people to stun them.
Ooh, the bird
When
looked
bringing
clean.
him over, we wanted to see what we could do to make him have more interactions with this Mark, as well as also make his passive a bit more useful.
I like the colors.
It's a very niche application of what it's good at. So we want to try and expand its usefulness. We also are saying that he is a hybrid scaler. So he will scale off both strength and intelligence.
Yes.
The main differentiating factor for him actually comes from the mark itself, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
All right.
Yeah,
Sweet.
and quick note that some of the effects today are still work in progress. So there are things that we are going to be updating before it goes live that we know aren't quite where we want them to be, but just where we are in the process, this is the day to show it. So, and we want you guys to play it and give us like gameplay feels later today. So note that some of the effects will be updating still from here.
Absolutely. Well, shall we just go ahead and start with that passive, Pon? Let's talk about Sun Touched.
Yeah, Sun Touch. So before it was when you're critically hit, become Sun Touch, reduce your cooldowns, and get you're basically immune to crit.
Yes.
That's still there. We felt like we talked about changing it, but we were like, that actually does feel like it can be an interesting counterplay, especially because there's a lot of crit heavy characters. But we want to make it so that it's more useful in those situations and also more useful early.
Yeah.
So it has an additional component, which is, or if you take 20% more of your health in one single blow.
Yes.
So if you get hit by a pretty hard hitting ability, you'll actually also become Sun Touched in that case. And you can't become Sun Touched again until your Sun Touch wears off.
Cool.
Additionally, a Mark of the Golden Crow will fly at the person who ever triggered this. So if someone crit you or if someone hits you for 20% of the health, a Mark of the Golden Crow will automatically fly out to them, which means that you can potentially then, with your 2, potentially even on someone else, you could stun them with your 1.
That's awesome. Sweet. All right. Speaking of the 1, the classic Smite ability, Ricochet. Let's talk about Ricochet, Pon.
Yeah, so Ricochet, it's going to be the ability you know.
Read that second dash.
It's going to bounce. It has all the same rules and everything.
Yes.
Read that second dash. Read it.
Additional component of intelligence scaling and a nice little line of text that says Ricochet bounces an additional time if you have 400.
So you can build full ability base and get an extra Ricochet only if you build intelligence.
If you want to get extra trick shot capability, including ramping up the Ricochet bonus damage.
So you can only do that if you build full int because you have to get 40. You have to get 400 intelligence. But
the important thing to note is that his intelligence scaling is actually less than his strength scaling. So if you go a high int build, you're not really dealing more damage. There's things out as 2 that actually kind of push him even more potentially bruisery. But we thought that if you get high enough, that 4th shot could absolutely make it so that if you land that 4th shot on someone, you can obliterate someone. So if you want to play super bursty Hou Yi, you're going to have to hit
it caps.
Yeah, I know, Pon, you were talking
it caps.
about
You don't get
probably
like
going to
50
be one of
bounces.
the hardest hitting abilities in the game if you're able to hit that 4th bounce.
Yes.
Because there is travel time involved with it as well.
Yeah, there's
right?
travel
You've got to
time.
line it up.
Yeah, actually getting if you buy.
They said all of the things are going to be updated. Yeah.
And as I go and buy some intelligence here, I will show it off.
You can also see our beautiful icon artwork has come in. Some of it is still my temp text. So that
this is not the optimal build, but I do have more than 400 intelligence. But Pon, should I go ahead and fire the 3 to help me get back to lane a little bit quicker?
Yeah,
talk
use
about
your
the
3
+1.
to get back to lane. See how you're moving a little
You float
bit.
again.
So that was actually something that Hou Yi had in OG Smite 1. I actually don't remember if it went live.
You float a little bit.
If it was just in his
Again.
pre-release.
Mm-hmm.
But he was actually able to move during the 3 before. Yep, you get that extra bounce there. Finding the right angle to actually get it is pretty tricky, but that's the challenge of it. Yeah, chunks. That hurt quite a bit. So we are using the Bari tech that we've used on a few places now, where that kind of like conditional movement that changes over time. You basically get a nice little burst of speed as you first get up into the air, and then you have a little bit of control. This just lets you more effectively chase, more effectively reposition, just adjust if you need to. It also just makes the ability not feel so statically stuck. Like every time I went back to play Smite 1 after this to like make sure I was getting parity with Hou Yi stuff, I was like, oh man, I'm like actually just completely stuck when I cast this ability. So it just feels nicer.
Cool. And then I did skip over the 2, but it's got some of the same interactions from Smite 1. So if you've got your marker,
you got to remember that strength scaling is just a lot
So
stronger in terms of like
now the other
70 strength scaling.
Oh,
is
yeah.
solid.
Let's look at it.
So let's look at Mark. So Mark has 2 states.
Yes.
If your strength is higher than your int, marked enemies take the bonus physical damage. So this is the passive that you are used to on Mark of the Golden Crow. Why int is higher than strength, marked additional effects are amplified. So It's not in here. I actually fixed the tooltip today. The stun goes from 0.2 to 0.6 seconds longer.
I'm just saying going full in is
knockback
trolling. Oh yeah, no, it's not
gets
trolling at all. No.
to- Can't remember if it's 45 or 65% stronger. And your slow gets up to 5 seconds. longer
Going
in duration
full
on the
int
ultimate. So you can
mid
bring harder CC effects.
isn't
if you go
troll,
higher
no.
Intelligence. That's kind of what I was alluding to, of like kind of a bruisery build.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And because also, like, as you lose health, you can mark other people. You can potentially spread that out to multiple targets.
Yeah.
So, is it basically, do you want to bring this extra utility to your team, or do you want to actually bring more? Just
So if you
direct
have more
damage
intelligence
with the strength side of things?
than strength,
Sweet.
you get a longer
All right, I
stun,
think we've talked about
a longer
pretty much all
knockback,
of the
and
abilities,
more of a
except for
slow
the
in your ult.
ultimate. I'm gonna fire
If
it
you have
off
more
to the
strength,
side
you're gonna
first,
get the
and we
old
can talk
passive where
about
you're gonna do
what's
more damage for
immediately
missing health.
visible. What's going on with the ultimate here, Fawn?
Yeah, so you can see there's like a sun in the ground. That's the first sun that he shoots down, and that's actually a blocker. It will knock people away when it lands. It blocks the area.
It
And
blocks
most
the
importantly, you
area,
can
chat.
ricochet off of it.
Yes.
So this is a way for
And you
him
can
to actually have
ricochet
access
off it.
immediately to something that lets him
Goodbye.
ricochet. If he's in the middle of an area that doesn't have a great ricochet target, if he feels like he can actually place this on top of someone and knock them back and then try and get the double tap on them, that is completely something that they are able to do now.
Goodbye.
Just a lot of extra utility for what kind of felt like a just giant team fight ults that didn't actually have much synergy with the rest of his
The
kit.
first
It now has
sun
pretty direct
gets
synergy with
lodged
the
into the
reason
ground
you
and
would
blocks
just
the
make
path.
And this does block collision, so you can block off paths here.
Yep, and then you can refire it to bring it down. I think the effects might be temp still on it ending early, but if you refire the device, yeah, it went out.
Went away. Cool.
Yep. So that doesn't stop the ult. It just gets rid of the sun.
Awesome. Sweet. Hou Yi, looking super sick.
Yep.
Lots of different build paths that you can go with Hou Yi now. Fawn, I know you played around with the bruiser builds. Of course, your traditional strength builds, your crit builds are going to work really well with Hou Yi as well. But the full int build is something that's super exciting to me for potential.
I am ready to see how high people can get that fourth bounce, especially if you can somehow land all 4 shots on someone. The places where you can actually like do that reliably,
I know,
are
right?
really limited.
I have a feeling there's gonna be people that immediately just go into a conquest and just walk around the map and figure out the bounce spots.
Yeah, that's also just another part of Hou Yi that's gonna be really interesting. Is like people had specific spots they learned and adjusted and figured out in terms of like.
A fourth
where
bounce
you
is
could
going to
bounce
make it
things
so you
off.
can
Like,
bounce
also
it
if
like
you're trying to
all
clear
the way
jungle
down
camp,
the
like,
jungle.
You kind of knew where you fired, and in a new game, those are just completely different.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, a couple chat questions popped up. While you're threeing, can you move in any direction, or is it just
It's
forward?
omni movement, so you can move in any direction. You can go backwards, forwards, left, right, any direction. So you're not forced to. If you just don't move, you don't.
Yeah, you just stay in the same spot if you don't
Yeah.
move.
And Phantom Shell would allow you to go through the ult blocker.
Good
on the
quality of
floor.
life.
It should just be a standard
quality of
block.
life
I
on
don't
the
know if I
jump.
actually explicitly tested that,
Hybrid
but, like, I don't
scaling,
see
meaning
that
you
as
can
my
build him
ability.
multiple
people are asking
ways. You can
some
build him as a
tooltips
full
for the 3
tank,
and the
or not a
4.
full
Yes,
tank. You can
let's
build
do
him
it.
as a full strength
Yep,
character,
and so, again,
crit,
like I
or
mentioned,
you
the
can
int
do
scaling
the
there is
ability-based
not, like, meant to
version,
make it so
ops
that
him
these
into like a
abilities hit
mid-type
super,
character.
super
You can
hard.
still run it out of
The
the
utilities
carry
in
lane,
other
but
places, besides that, so you have the int scaling on dive bomb, and then the ult. I did some tooltip cleanup on this one as well, but yeah. So you can just see all the damages and all the scaling stuff.
Nice. Well, I
Oh,
believe
oh no. So somebody says, can Ganesha break it with this dash?
It's an ultimate.
Not because it's an ultimate.
Yes,
it's non-ultimate.
Yes,
Yeah.
non-ultimate is the clause for Ganesh.
he can still dash through it, but he can't destroy it.
Correct.
Sweet. I think that's everything for base Hou Yi, but Hou Yi also, you mentioned earlier on in the week, has an aspect, correct,
Yes,
Fawn?
he does have an aspect.
All right, sweet. Let me switch to that.
Aspect.
And we can show off its
So
test
this one was
talent.
actually initially Kilgun pitched an idea, and we ran with it. There's a lot of other things going on with it, but
So blame me if it's not fun or if it's too good.
The core idea here is, what if his basic attack could ricochet? So now, if you want to do trick shots all the time, you can ricochet all over the place with your basic attacks.
Yes, cool. All right, let me hover over the
I
aspect.
just thought it sounded
Let's read
fun.
it. Kilgun out here cooking.
I play a Hou Yi because I want to do ricochets.
It's
Okay,
Hercules
it
right
is
now.
her tooltip.
I did fix that also this morning, so that's
All right, well, Pawn, off the top of your head,
Ricochet
sorry to put you
autos.
on the
No,
spot, but
I remember all
do
the
you,
details.
cool, awesome. Let's go through it.
Okay, so the trade-off that you're getting is your one. The main one is your one no longer ricochets. So ricochet no longer ricochets, but your one.
It looks like that
your basic
targeter is
attack
broken down.
ricochets.
Yeah.
It's because you fire the one and then it goes back to your basic attack.
Ah, okay.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
so
So,
why-
yeah, this is my one targeter,
And this
then I
is
fire
still
it.
also a
Yeah.
temp targeter.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right. So there's some stuff still going on there, but your one.
To be
doesn't
fair,
ricochet
y'all,
anymore. your base
That's
attack
not like I feel like when people first saw that, they're like, "Yo, that's busted." But I mean, it's not gonna
one
pass
someone, and I don't
through
know if it's gonna work in
everything.
this build, 'cause again, I fixed a few things
It's
this
not gonna
morning.
it's not gonna
If you
turn it
one
into like
someone
Izanami autos where it like passes
So it
through
doesn't look like
everything.
that's
It
in
would
yet. That
still
should be in for the plate the
Flash
previous
test.
plate.
like your auto.
If
I
they
don't
are
think it's
already
gonna
marked,
just
and this should
pass
work,
through
it
everything.
will
So just
fire
like I don't think.
It'll split the mark. So you're basically your one becomes this like mark applier.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
And
the mark FX is one of those things that's still a little work in progress here. You know, like we said, some of the effects are still getting updated. Hard to see on Ymir when you got the blue mark.
Yes. And the other bit that's kind of cool is so if you get two Ymirs next to each other.
Yeah, let's see here.
I did say mark applier, but it definitely does sound like mark applier.
All right, cool.
So if you just two him and then basic attack, it's broken right now, but you can see the projectile flying over there. It will automatically ricochet that basic attack to the nearest target.
Ah, okay, nice.
So again, this should all be fixed when you guys actually get to playtest it today. These were things that we found this morning because some of my changes ended up exploding things. But the idea is you want to try and basic attack ricochet targets. Your one becomes this ability to apply Mark of the Golden Crow. You can spread Mark of the Golden Crow even more. And you just want to basic attack these marked targets to basically cleave off to people.
So your one is going to apply another mark, and then you can auto them, and it'll ricochet off the person that's marked to somebody else.
Oh my goodness, you're going crazy. Now, do the ricochet basic attacks still apply on hit effects?
They do.
Cool.
They also inherit the bounce rules for the one, which is bonus damage to gods. So if you just
only if they're marked, it'll only bounce off a person if they're marked with your auto.
That Ymir, so just make sure.
Line it up. 156. Yeah.
So if you can get a good amount of bounces, you can also amplify your basic attack damage. So ricochet basics are stronger than normal basics.
Nice.
But again, you are losing out on the stun. You are losing on the ricochet damage from the one. So it's definitely a trade-off in that respect. And also, there was one other change, which is the mark. On the int side, it made it so the stun was longer. So in this aspect, what it does instead is if your int's higher than your strength and you've marked someone and won them, it'll spread two crows out instead of one.
Sweet. And then I can ultimate, and then my basic attack should ricochet off the sun. Yep. So same rules there. But the one does no longer ricochet.
Correct. So a lot of interesting things there. If you want to try and just constantly trick
just
shot,
super attack speed trick shot build. I can't wait for the montages. Like
in Joust in particular, and in the jungle areas of Conquest, it can be a really fun minigame to just try and constantly optimize these basic attacks.
Oh my goodness! And the basic attacks, how many times do they bounce? The same rules as Ricochet. And
it's the same rules as Ricochet.
Awesome. Yeah, this is great.
So lots of cool stuff. Lots of really interesting stuff. And hopefully people enjoy Hou Yi. Again, the effects coming in are going to be, we're still making sure all of them are there. There's a few bugs you're seeing right now. Like, for example, you can see the basic attack is spawning effects in the center. Fixed that this morning, too. So we're knocking it all out. But, yeah, you guys are seeing it.
Looks
a
dope.
little bit of a work in
Yes.
progress right
So, yeah, that
looks
is
dope.
Hou Yi in Smite 2, base kit and aspect. Should be really exciting. I'm going to bring us back to cams. I'll show up the Ascension Pass really quick. But I did want to call out, you did mention a couple known issues. I believe there's an issue with the 3 that players will probably encounter in this flash test as well.
The problem, so the version that you guys will play on the flash test should be pretty good overall. It's likely, though, we won't get another build, and we found an issue this morning where the 3, while you're in like that dash like hovering state, you are hittable by things. INI files sometimes just don't like to save.
Yes.
And so we found that this morning. It just means that he doesn't have the right collision profile, so unfortunate there. You can still, like, while you're actually, like, once you select a ground location and you start moving, you will be properly immune to things as you travel, but you are supposed to be immune in the air with that. And another +1 for him, which I didn't mention, was we did drastically reduce the time in which you don't have immunity to damage. Like, you're supposed to become unhittable once you've reached the apex height. We drastically lowered how quick that kicks on, so the amount of times you should get ripped out of the air should be a lot less for Hou Yi.
Cool.
But again, that won't be in for this flash test.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's look at...
Someone mentioned just one question. I also
No, go for it.
On the aspect, the base guy does not get the extra ricochet from the 400 in. That's just a ricochet specific thing. Cool. Also calling them all ricocheting. We actually debated for a little bit, like, is it okay to keep the AO1 named Ricochet if the aspect makes it not Ricochet? We decided yes for now, but yeah.
Cool. All right, so I've got the Ascension Pass for Hou Yi up first. We've got the Shadow Skin looking really clean. I love the bow on this one. The kind of deep
Hou
purples.
Yi kit
and
reveal,
auras.
buddy.
His first tracker, total ricochets, of course. The amount of ricochet shots Hou Yi has hit on targets. So super cool. You've got your Mastery emote, your clap, objectives destroyed, your Goddesses tracker. The next unique tracker, though, is